This is ZICHRU Sanhedrin, and we're going to attempt to do a 10 BLATT Chazara. We're going to start from Sanhedrin Daf Bayis. Bayis, of course, is a Bayis, is a house, and in the world of Sanhedrin, it's going to be a Sanhedrin house. We're going to have the three different types of Sanhedrins. We have the Sanhedrin Agadol of 71, we have the Sanhedrin for capital crimes of 23, and then we have the Sanhedrin of Dinei Mamonis, etc., for 3 Dayanim. Point number 2 is we're going to have what is the source for the Sanhedrin Gedolah and Tzidin Nefashas. We have a Dayan looking, as a pasuk by Moshe Rabbeinu, he was going to look for 70 more judges. And finally, we have over here quite an easy bezdin to find, as they are Hedyoitais. As the first opinion was that Midaraisa, it's true, we need Dini Mumchin. But for Halvayais, we're going to waive that requirement and we're going to allow it to have Hedyoitais. We see it's quite easy to find the bezdin. So Daf Beis, Bayis, Mesechus Sanhedrin. Taf Gimel, of course, is going to be a camel, a Gamul. Point number 1 is going to be the second opinion, which is that Midaraisa, 1 Dayan is going to be enough. Midrabanan, you need 3. Why? Because of Yeshvei Karanais. As over here, we have these 3 people standing next to the camel, the Yeshvei Karanais, in which we're going to be reminded of that Midaraisa, it's true, you could have 1 Dayan, but we're worried. He might not know what's going on, and therefore we're going to require 3 Misham Yeshvei Karanais. Point number 2 is it's going to be the source for 3 Dayanim Elikim, 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 which we see engraved on the side of this camel. And point number 3 is, are you allowed to have an odd? As you see over here, you have 4 Dayanim. And the problem is going to be, what if we have a split verdict, the Machlaikas? If you have an odd number of Dayanim. So the Gamul, the camel, Daf Gimel. And we move on to Dalit. Of course, Dalit is going to be a deles, a door. And who's barging into the classroom through the door? It's a boy holding milk. Why is the boy holding milk? Because proving that everyone's going to hold Yesheim Lemikra. That Bachalevi Maya means with the milk, as he's running through the deles, the door, holding milk. Point number 2, we're going to have all the Tanaim, as the Rebbe has on the board, that are going to hold Yesheim Lemikra, Rebbe Rav Yehuda Beishami, Rav Shimon, and Rebbe Akiva. And point number 3 is going to be, you see the boy showing up late to class, wearing his tefillin on his shirt, it says Taitafais, Taitafais, Taitafais. Now we're going to see that Lemaisa, not everyone actually holds Yeshem Lemikra. There are those that hold Yeshem Lemisiris. Again, the Del is barging through that door with the milk, proving Yeshem Lemikra. We move on to Daf Hey. Daf Hey, of course, is going to be a haystack. So over here we have a haystack with a Mumcha L'Rabim, an incredible elderly judge, sitting there that he is allowed to judge cases all by himself. All by his lonesome, no other Dayanim need to be there, sitting on the haystack, the Mumcha Ravim. Number 2 is going to be Rishus Lebavel, the difference between the Rishus in Eretz Yisrael versus the Rishus in Bavel. You see he's holding a stake, Kabah, Shevet V'Hasa Mechaykek. And of course, point number 3 is going to be Rishus Tapaskin, Isser V'Heter. Because of the wrong psak, we have Mei Beitzim versus Mei Bitzaim. We have on the wall the certification, the Yaira. So we think of our haystack, this room, this singular dayan, and the different types of Rishuyais, Bavel versus Eretz Yisrael. Yaira, who is allowed to paskin. And we move on to that Vav. And Vav, of course, is a singular line, is a sword. A straight sword like a Vav. So what's going to be the straight sword? It's going to be the Machlaik. As 2 people show up, they drop their swords, and how many Dayanim are required for a Pshara? When we want to make a Pshara and all the cases of Pshara, how does that work? Is it a mitzvah, as in this case, the Dayan screams out, it's a mitzvah? Or is it a Rishos, or is it forbidden? Different stages of the Din Torah. Do they hear the different sides or not? Do they decide what the halacha should be? So the Vav, as they drop their swords, they're trying to get a Pshara, and finally points the wall, engraved on the wall, the David, I said, Mishpat Ustaka, how David HaMelech, how could you have both Mishpat, judgment, Ustaka, and righteousness? Well, that's going to be the Pshara, that's Davav, straight like a sword. We move on to Dav Zayin. Zayin is going to be, of course, Clay Zayin. We have these 2 incredible bodyguards holding their Zayin, holding their Clay Zayin, holding their guns. Point number 1 is the standing guard, as we have an incredible Din Torah happening. And question number 1 is, tell me about your Liman Torah. Point number 2 is an incredible cloud hovering ahead. Why? Kol Dayan Shedan Dinemos La'amitai, Mishra Shechina B'Yisrael, causes the Shechina to rest in Klal Yisrael. And point number 3 is, the Dayan says, I know this so clearly, Bar Lanu Kibaiker. only paskin if something is clear as day, clear like a chaysi, like your sister is also Zayun, the clay Zayun, the gun. And we move on to Daf Ches, and Ches, of course, is our wonderful Challah. And who's bringing these beautiful, wafting, smelling Challahs? The 5 daughters of the Bnai Slavcha. They bring it to Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu teaches, bring the difficult cases to me. And who do they walk by on their way to Moshe Rabbeinu? They walk by the Bezin of 23, who is trying a capital crime. The capital crime of a Motzi Shemra, and the machlek is whether it is indeed a capital crime. Etc. And finally, the wonderful smell of the Challah from Daf Ches, here smelled by 2 Eidim, in which they did not necessarily include the specific Asra when they gave their Hasra. We move on to Daf Tes. Tes, of course, is going to be Tes, is going to be Teh. So we have a person drinking tea, thinking, remembering how he saw a crime being committed together with his brother, but he himself did not give Hasra, and therefore he will not combine together with the brother to passel everyone up. Point number 2 is going to be, he spills his tea, he's startled. Why is he startled? He's startled because one man says that he did an Aveira, he was Mezaneh, Mishkav Zachar with another man, and whether Palgina Diburi or not, we split his word, ain't on the mitzvah Atzli Rasha, but could he believe for the other guy? And point number 3 is, what's he watching? He's watching that they come to give Eidos about the Motzi Shamra and about the money, Hariga and Mamanis. Eidim Zaymin of the Zaymin will be chayiv both. We move on to Daf Yud. Daf Yud is, of course, what's 10 in Yiddishkeit? A Minyan. And where's the Minyan going to be? In ZICHRU Sanhedrin, of course. Next to the Bezdin of 23, the source 4. And what are they going to be giving in that Bezdin? Malchus, of course. So what is going to be the source that Malchus requires, either Bezdin of 3 or 23? And what is the Minyan watching? They're watching them be Mekadesh L'Chaydash, Kiddush HaChaydash, Chizhav HaKodesh. Are they sanctifying the month? Are they just calculating the month? Day 30 versus day 31. And Rav Shimon and Gamliel, we see on the wall, there's a sign up to go watch the Iber Shana of 3, 5, and 7 Dayanim. And what's the Makar for 3, 5, and 7? One of the Makaris is going to be from Birchas Kaihanim. And finally, we conclude with Daf Yud Aleph. What is 11 in Yiddishkeit? 11 stars in Yosef's dream. We have Shmuel HaKatan and Rav Chia wearing the star in their hat, that they admitted, I was the one that came without being invited. Of course, it wasn't really them. Rav Chia admitted he ate garlic. Even, of course, it wasn't really him. He wanted to save someone else from embarrassment. Putting the stars, 11 stars in Yosef's dream, up on the wall of the different reasons you could be Ma'aber the Chaydish. And of course, the star fireworks in Yehuda when they're Ma'aber the Shaneh during the day, Daf Yud Aleph. And that is Daf Bayis through Daf Yud Aleph with the incredible ZICHRU Simanim.